Today, it is the undisputed symbol of romance, elegance, and the spirit of France. Every year, millions of people look up at its interlocking iron beams in absolute awe. We take its existence for granted. But in the winter of 1887, the patch of land it stands on was the center of a furious cultural war. To the people of Paris, the structure being proposed wasn't art. It was a disease, a monstrous industrial scar on the face of the world's most beautiful city. Prominent artists called it a hideous iron skeleton. Newspapers warned it would collapse and crush nearby homes. This is APT Landmark. In this first season, we are tracking the birth, the scandal, and the survival of the Eiffel Tower. And before it could become an icon, it had to survive a city that desperately wanted to tear it down before a single stone was even laid. To understand why this tower triggered such panic, we have to look at France in the 1880s. The nation was preparing for the 1889 Exposition Universelle, the World's Fair. But this wasn't just any exposition. 1889 marked exactly 100 years since the French Revolution. The French government wanted to prove something to the world. They had survived political turmoil, wars, and economic shifts. Now, they wanted to showcase their engineering prowess, their industry, and their forward-thinking vision. The centerpiece of this fair needed to be jaw-dropping. The Ministry of Industry launched a competition. Design a tower on the Champ de Mars with a square base, 125 meters wide per side, and a staggering 300 meters tall. By 1886, Eiffel was already a household name in engineering, but not for monuments. He was a master of utility. He built massive iron railway bridges that spanned deep valleys. He understood how iron reacted to wind, weight, and stress. In fact, when Frederick Auguste Bartholdi needed someone to design the internal skeleton to hold up the Statue of Liberty in New York, he called Eiffel. Eiffel didn't actually invent the design for the tower. It was conceived by two senior engineers in his firm, Maurice Koechlin and Émile Nouguier. Initially, Eiffel wasn't impressed. He was initially unconvinced by the proposal. But after his head of architectural department, Stephen Sauvestre, added elegant decorative arches to the base, a glass-enclosed pavilion to the first level, and a bulb-shaped design at the top, Eiffel saw the genius in it. He bought the patent from his own engineers. He put his name on it, and he pitched it to the government. In June 1886, Eiffel's design won the competition. He was awarded a contract and a subsidy to begin construction. Then the dam broke. Parisian high society was horrified. You have to remember what Paris looked like at the time. It was a city of stone, marble, and uniform neoclassical architecture, largely shaped by Baron Haussmann. It was low-built, elegant, and ancient. On February 14, 1887, more than 2 weeks after physical groundbreaking had already begun, on January 28, 1887, a bombshell letter was published in the prominent newspaper Le Temps. It was called The Protest Against the Tower of Monsieur Eiffel. It was addressed directly to Jean-Charles Adolphe Alphand, the director of works for the exposition, and was signed by the absolute elite of French culture. Charles Gounod, the composer; Alexandre Dumas Fils, the famous writer and dramatist; Guy de Maupassant, the celebrated novelist. Listen to what they wrote to the director of works. We, writers, painters, sculptors, architects, passionate lovers of the beauty of Paris, protest with all our might, with all our indignation, in the name of unappreciated French taste, against the erection in the heart of our capital of the useless and monstrous Eiffel Tower. They went further, calling it a gigantic black factory chimney that would cast a humiliating shadow over the Louvre, Notre Dame, and the Arc de Triomphe. While popular myth often attributes the famous spiteful dining story to Maupassant, it is more reliably associated with the English writer and designer William Morris, who is said to have dined inside the tower simply to avoid its profile. However, Maupassant did flee the city in 1890, writing in his travelogue La Vie Errante, The Wandering Life, that he left France because he was weary of seeing the tower everywhere, calling it a perpetual racking nightmare. The protest wasn't just an artistic complaint. It was a PR nightmare. Public panic spread. Rumors circulated that the iron structure would act as a massive lightning rod, electrocuting the neighborhood, or that its immense weight would cause it to sink into the Seine River. But Gustave Eiffel was not just a brilliant engineer. He was an incredibly shrewd businessman. He fought back in the press with cold, hard logic. He argued that his tower had its own form of beauty. He asked, "Because we are engineers, does it follow that beauty does not preoccupy us, and that we do not try to build beautifully as well as solidly?" Eiffel pointed out that the tower's shape was dictated entirely by the laws of physics. The curve of its 4 legs was empirically designed, using graphical statics to balance the weight of the structure perfectly against wind forces. Many historians today regard it as an early example of structural expressionism, where form follows function. Behind the scenes, Eiffel locked down the politics. To cover the project's estimated 6.5 million franc cost, he secured a state subsidy of 1.5 million francs. As construction progressed, he later raised the remaining 5.0 million through a banking syndicate led by the Banque Franco-Egyptienne, putting up his own operating rights to the tower as collateral. The artists could scream all they wanted. The wheels of progress were already turning. On January 28, 1887, under a grey, freezing Parisian sky, the first shovels hit the dirt on the Champ de Mars. The debate was officially over. The physical battle had begun. Gustave Eiffel had won the right to build his dream, but he had just over 2 years to complete the tallest structure mankind had ever attempted. He was racing against a strict deadline for the World's Fair. Working with a material, puddled iron, a refined, low-carbon wrought iron that offered 3 times the tensile strength of traditional cast iron, that critics claimed would snap under pressure and staring down a city that was waiting for him to fail. The dream that had divided Paris was now a blueprint coming to life. But as the ground was cleared, a new, terrifying reality set in. How do you actually anchor a 73,000 metric ton puddled iron giant, which would weigh a massive 10,100 tons upon completion, into the muddy banks of the Seine River? Next time on APT Landmark, the blueprints meet the mud. As the foundations are dug, Eiffel faces his first major engineering crisis, and the four legs of the tower begin their perilous climb into the sky. Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow the construction. See you in the next episode.